Hello, folks. This week we're going to take a look at the song White Sandy Beach by Israel Kamakawiwo Ole, or we can just say is. For this lesson, you want to be familiar with last week's lesson, so we'll have a link to that. That lesson covered fingerpicking, and this song is all fingerpicking. These are the chords that are in the song. We have an F chord, a B flat, a B flat minor, and a C7. That's all the chords. If you're not familiar with any of those, head back to that lesson on fingerpicking, where we go over each of those chords in a bit more detail. We also practice the fingerpicking pattern, which will sound like this. Now, if you just need a brief refresher, what I'm doing there is I've got my thumb kind of assigned to the G string, my index finger assigned to the C string, my middle finger assigned to the E string, and my ring finger assigned to the A string. And I'm just going to repeat this pattern using my thumb, index, middle, ring, and I just repeat this pattern throughout. So we can practice it very slowly like that and obviously build up speed from there. If you are still working on getting the finger picking, under control with your fingers, that's okay. We can also strum this song. So instead of, we could do something like, so I've just basically got this down, down, up feel going on. Down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. And you could modify that progression any way that you like, any way that you see fit that works for the song. There are a lot of different versions of this song. The version that I'm kind of using as a reference for this is from the album Facing Forward, but it appears on a lot of albums. There's some live recordings of him performing it, which is a great way to watch his fingers up close, see what he's doing. But the version of this song on the album Facing Future, let me just confirm, that's actually the title. Facing Future, yeah, I was right. I am going to be demonstrating this song mostly on a soprano ukulele with a high G, the re-entrant tuning. That means the G string is the second highest pitched string on my ukulele. My A is the highest pitched note, the G is the second highest. Now, that's not the tuning that is using in for this song. He is actually using a low G tuned ukulele. It's going to work both ways. It's still going to sound nice with our high G, but I want to give you an example of what it sounds like. Obviously, you've got the recording to refer to as well, but here is my tenor ukulele with a low G string on there, and this is what these chords sound like on the low G. What's nice about that is we have that low to high sound, going from the lowest pitch up to the highest pitch. And for this kind of arpeggio pattern, low G suits that sound very, very nicely. Here's what it sounds like if I'm strumming using the low G. Switch to that B flat. White sandy beach of Hawaii. But I'm going to put the low G away for now because I think a lot of us just have the high G ukuleles. But if you've got a low G, rock on. We're going to start off by just playing through the song. Feel free to follow along if you want to try and do the chord changes along with me. You're more than welcome to. If you don't feel like you're quite ready for that, just follow along on the PDF with the chords and lyrics and just kind of get a sense for how the whole thing goes. On the recording, opens the song with a little melodic bit that sounds something kind of like this. Kind of mirroring the melody of the song. But we're not going to worry about that. I'm just going to play the F chord as that arpeggio. I'm just going to play that 4 times and then into the song. I saw you in my dream. We were walking hand in hand on a white sandy beach of Hawaii. We were playing in the sun. We were having so much fun on a white sandy beach of Hawaii. Sound of the ocean soothes my restless soul. Sound of the ocean rocks me all night long. Oh, oh, oh. Those hot young summer days, lying there in the sun on a white sandy beach of Hawaii. The sound of the ocean soothes my restless soul. The sound of the ocean rocks me all night long. Oh, oh, oh. Last night in my dream, I saw your face again. We were there in the sun on a white sandy beach. Oh, of Hawaii, on a white sandy beach of Hawaii. Now, if you're comparing what I just played to some of the recordings, you'll notice that I was taking some liberties in terms of like how long I'm playing the chords before I jump to the next verse, things like that. That's all about my personal, making sure that my voice is ready to sing the next line. Maybe I can give myself an extra measure or something like that, so I can kind of get into the next verse. You'll probably notice that the different versions on the recordings might have similar differences. So sometimes there's a little bit more of a ukulele solo that happens in between. On one of the recordings, there's a lot more instrumentation going on. I think it's from the album Wonderful World, where there are more instrumental bits in between the verses. All that is to say that once you have the core of the song and the structure and the melody down, you can kind of tailor it to your own style and play it any way that you see fit. All right, now that we have a sense of what the song sounds like as a whole, let's kind of break down each part. So now I'm looking at the PDF with the tablature written out on it. We have the tablature, we have the standard notation, and the chord symbol written above. Additionally, it's broken into intro, verse, chorus, verse 2, etc. So let's work our way down. We'll start from the intro, and this is our simplified intro where we're just playing the F chord. We're playing two measures of that F chord. We're counting each one of these strokes as an eighth note. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's how we're going to think of the count of this song. So I'm going to play that intro. Again, it's the two measures. I'm basically playing that F arpeggio 4 times throughout those two measures. I'll count us off. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now again, we can vamp that as long as we want. If we're starting the song, we're just kind of getting in the zone, I can just keep playing this F chord until I'm ready to start. And then once we are ready, we can move on to the verse. All right, so the verse, in the verse, we have this progression that goes F, B flat minor, and then we go back to F. Now, the first time through our first verse, it's twice as long as our other verses. So when we get to the end, the eighth measure of that first verse, we're going to have what's called a turnaround. That's where that C7 shows up. And we throw that chord in there so we have like something sonically that changes and tells us like we're resetting. So I'm going to play through the whole verse, and we'll see what that sounds like. 1, 2, 3. I saw you in my dream. We were walking hand in hand, B flat, on a white, B flat minor, sandy beach, F of Hawaii, C7. We were playing in the sun. We were having so much fun, B flat, on a white, sandy beach of Hawaii. And there is our verse 1. I'm going to play that verse again without singing so you can hear what the ukulele sounds like all by itself. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... And that brings us to the chorus. So the first 2 times that we run into this chorus, it's going to be the same. So I've got 2 measures of C7. That's the sound of the ocean, soothes my restless soul, B flat and C. And then we're going to hang on the C7 after that for 7 measures. And then he does the, a little bit of vocalization at the end before going back into verse number 2. So let's play the chorus. I'll play and sing, and then I'll play it by itself afterwards. 1, 2, and 3. The sound of the ocean soothes my restless soul. The sound of the ocean rocks me all night long. Oh, oh, oh. And then we roll into verse number 2. Here's that chorus again with just the ukulele. 1, 2, 3, 4, and... a lot of the same chord all in a row. It's easy to lose your place in a song like this, where we have just the same thing repeating for a very long time. That can be more challenging than having a bunch of changes in a song. It's easy to kind of zone out and lose where you are. Oh, wait a second, how many times have I played that? This is definitely a song that having the vocal line going along with you while you play is a helpful way to stay on track. Verse 2. We have arrived at verse 2, and this is half the length of verse number 1. We've only got 2 lines of lyrics here. And same idea as before. It's like the second half of verse 1, where we go F, B flat minor, and then we hang on the F for 2 measures before going to the chorus. So let's see what that sounds like. 1, 2, 3. Those hot, long summer days, lying there in the sun, on a white, sandy beach of Hawaii. All there is to verse number 2. I'm going to play that again, just like before, with just the ukulele. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... verse 2. We return to our chorus, and that's the same idea as before. And that is going to lead us into verse 3. And verse 3 is where things are a little bit different. Instead of just ending the same way, returning to that chorus, this ends on that refrain that happens every verse, on a white sandy beach. And we kind of have like a little retard going on at the end, where we kind of slow down and let the spacing breathe a little bit more. Let's play through it and see what it sounds like, and then we'll walk through what's going on there. 1, 2, 3. Last night in my dream, I saw your face again. We were there in the sun, on a white sandy beach of Hawaii, on a white sandy beach of Hawaii. Now again, depending on the recording, you might hear is end the song a little bit differently each time. I believe the version of him performing on the beach, he doesn't hang on that B flat minor quite as long, so he instead he just kind of plays that refrain a few times. On a white sandy beach of Hawaii, on a white sandy beach of Hawaii, on a white sandy beach, and so forth, like that. However many times he repeats that little refrain. All of them sound good. Again, I was kind of basing this arrangement off of the version on the album Facing Future. So I'm going to go through the verse as I have it written out in the tab here without singing. So I'm just going to be playing the ukulele so we can hear what that sounds like, that verse 3 to the end of the song. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now, just like the intro, he played a little melodic idea like that. He does the same thing at the end of a few of these versions. So he'll kind of go back to he'll kind of slow down when he's after he sings on a white sandy beach of Hawaii, and then. Kind of something like that, ending the song like that, with a little decorative end. So if you want to play it like that, that is also a cool way to do it. All right, so let's go ahead, now that we've looked at all the individual parts of this song, let's go through. I want to sing it again and take the whole thing, thinking about all those little bits that we looked at when we kind of walked through it part by part. I definitely get lost sometimes in that ending. Sometimes I'll those extra long B flat minor chords, I might play a little extra. Again, like I said at the beginning, and throughout. There's a lot of room for your own personal performance in terms of how you want to deliver that, how dramatic you want to get at the end, how exactly you want to end the song, or hold out any of these chords, space between verses, and so on. So just be aware that, especially at the end, I might stray from the tabs a little bit. The tabs are kind of there just as a guideline for you to kind of give you a visualization of those arpeggios that you're playing, and then the overall structure of the song musically, separate from the chords and lyrics part. But there's a lot of wiggle room and plenty of room for mistakes. So let's just get right to it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I saw you in my dream. We were walking hand in hand on a white sandy beach of Hawaii. We were playing in the sun. We were having so much fun on a white sandy beach of Hawaii. The sound of the ocean soothes my restless soul. Sound of the ocean rocks me all night long. Oh, oh, oh. hot and long summer days, lying there in the sun on a white sandy beach of Hawaii. The sound of the ocean soothes my restless soul. Sound of the ocean rocks me all night long. Last night in my dream, I saw your face again. We were there in the sun on a white sandy beach of Hawaii. On a white sandy beach of Hawaii. And that is the song. Obviously, with a song that kind of has different versions, and you might play a little bit differently, just like any song, I suppose. If you're playing with other players, just make sure that you all know where you're going to be changing, and if someone is leading it and they're, they might be taking a little bit longer on a certain chord, just, kind of talk through those sorts of things, the types of things that you want to talk out with a group. If you're going to be doing this version or that version, or if you've come up with your own version of the song, you just want to make sure that everybody is on the same page. The transitions between chords, especially that B flat, that's going to be the toughest one for a lot of folks. If you notice while I was playing, what I was trying to do, because I'm playing an arpeggio here, I can get my hand into position as I'm playing that arpeggio, right? So when I go to that B flat, I get my ring finger down, and then I get the other fingers in place as I'm working my way up. Like that. Getting my fingers out of the way for that C7 can be a little tricky, so watch out for that. And when you're playing the B flat to B flat minor, you want to make sure that when you play that B flat, you are set up to play that B flat minor right afterwards. You'll notice that, like, when I play that B flat, my index finger isn't just on the strings that it needs to be. I'm trying to get my index finger across the whole thing. So that is a very important tip. It means less kind of wiggling your finger at the last second to get that B flat to a B flat minor. I probably did it a few times, so if you watch the performance and watch my hands again, you'll probably see some of those, like, little, oh gosh, I didn't put my finger in the right spot. I gotta, maneuver really quickly. So. But that is the gist of the piece. Please let me know if you have any questions, or if you have a suggestion for what you would like for another song or another technique. I have a collection of free sheet music that is now up on the Tiny Village Music website. So if you go to tinyvillagemusic.com, and you go to the Tiny Village Music drop-down menu in the top bar there, you'll see music for yoga, play the ukulele, and free ukulele sheet music below that. So you can go ahead and click on free ukulele sheet music, and there are a handful of songs that are up there. Most of them are in tablature form, and they are ready to just download as PDFs to check out. I hope you are all doing well, and I hope you're finding plenty to keep yourself occupied. So, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all next week. Take care.